Behold, the toothbrush. That tiny, unassuming stick we grab every morning without a second thought. But don't be fooled, this little tool has shaped human health in ways you'd never imagine. From saving us from tooth decay to giving us fresh breath, the toothbrush is more than hygiene, it's history in your hand. Humans have been obsessing over clean teeth for thousands of years, using everything from twigs and porcupine quills to frayed sticks and magical meswak branches. And yes, some of it was gross, some of it was genius, and some of it will make you wonder how anyone survived without cavities. So, how did we go from gnawing on sticks to wielding electric brushes with apps? The answer will take you on a journey across continents, centuries, and some truly bizarre dental inventions. And trust me, the story of the toothbrush is far stranger than you think. Before toothpaste commercials and electric toothbrushes, humans were getting creative with whatever they could find. Way back around 3500 to 3000 BCE, the Babylonians and Egyptians were scrubbing their teeth with chew sticks, simple twigs with frayed ends. Imagine gnawing on a stick first thing in the morning and thinking, yep, this will get the spinach out of my teeth. Or maybe I'll just get a splinter. But hey, it worked, kind of. Meanwhile, across Asia, the folks in China and India had discovered the meswak, a twig from the Salvadora persica tree. Naturally antibacterial, easy to carry, and eco-friendly, it was basically a Swiss Army knife for your mouth. Clean teeth, fresh breath, and a touch of spiritual wellness, all in one magical stick. Take that, modern toothpaste, and let's not forget the more inventive approaches. Some cultures turned to bird, porcupine quills, and even animal bones as primitive toothpicks. Yes, you heard that right. Using a porcupine quill to clean between your teeth sounds like a terrible idea. But apparently, it worked for them. Dental hygiene in ancient times was equal parts ingenuity, desperation, and, well, bravery. But these were just the humble beginnings. Little did they know, thousands of years later, humans would invent something soft, uniform, and terrifyingly effective. The toothbrush as we know it. And that story? It's about to get a lot more interesting. By the 15th century, humans had officially leveled up their dental game. Enter the first true toothbrush. No longer just a gnawed stick or magical twig, this brush had a handle made of bamboo or bone, sturdy, elegant, and just fancy enough to make your teeth feel important. But let's talk bristles. Because this is where things get interesting. The bristles weren't soft nylon like your modern toothbrush. Oh no. They came from hog hair or horse hair. Yes, you just heard me, people were scrubbing their mouths with tiny bundles of animal hair. Imagine brushing your teeth with a tiny porcine mane every morning. Gentle? Not exactly. Effective? Surprisingly, yes. And let's be honest, probably a little ticklish too. China wasn't keeping this secret to itself. Thanks to the bustling trade routes, the ones carrying silk, spices, and other fancy goods, these bristled brushes made their way to Europe by the 17th century. Suddenly, European nobles were scratching their teeth with boar hair brushes and wondering how they ever survived without one. It was like discovering chocolate. But for your mouth. Of course, these brushes weren't cheap. Only the wealthy could afford them, which meant that for most Europeans, dental hygiene was still a luxury. Imagine going to court and showing off your brand new bristle brush like it's a crown jewel, fancy, functional, and a little intimidating to anyone who had never seen one before. But the story doesn't end there. As these brushes spread across continents, inventors and dentists began tinkering, experimenting, and improving on the design. Soon, something would appear that made the bristle brush feel like ancient history, a creation so revolutionary, it would change the way humans brush their teeth forever. And that, my friends, is where the modern toothbrush saga truly begins. By the 17th century, Europe was all about fashion, luxury, and showing off your wealth. So naturally, when the bristled toothbrush from China arrived via trade routes, the rich couldn't resist. Suddenly, owning a toothbrush wasn't just about clean teeth, it was a status symbol. Oh, you have a gilded goblet? Cute. I have a bristle brush with ivory handles. And yes, they got creative. Handles were made from ivory or fine wood, polished until they gleamed like royalty's crown jewels. The bristles, which once would have left you wondering if a tiny pig had attacked your gums, were softened for comfort. Because even nobles have limits, tickling your teeth with a bundle of hog hair is only fun for so long. Of course, these brushes were expensive, scarce, and mostly imported. For the average person, brushing remained a questionable, improvised activity. Think rags, salt, and a little hope. Dental hygiene was still largely a privilege of the elite. You could say Europe had a two-tier brushing system, the fabulously rich with bristle brushes and everyone else. Well, let's not dwell on the soot rag era. But the story was far from over. As the 18th century rolled on, innovation and mass production were knocking at Europe's door. Soon, what was once an exotic luxury for the wealthy would evolve into something affordable, accessible, and downright life-changing for the common folk. And what happened next? Let's just say the toothbrush was about to become mainstream. Our story now moves to England, the late 1700s, and a man named William Addis, a name you probably haven't heard, but trust me, your teeth should thank him. Picture this, Addis is stuck in prison, bored out of his mind, and probably thinking, I've done all my push-ups, read all my books. What now? Well, like any genius in confinement, he got creative. He took a small bone, drilled holes, and stuffed it with bristles. Voila! The first mass-produced toothbrush. Prison innovation at its finest. Some say it was the start of a dental revolution, others say it was just a bored man poking around with animal hair. Either way, it worked, and the world would never brush the same way again. Fast forward to the Industrial Revolution, when everything changed. Factories, machines, and cheap materials meant toothbrushes could finally reach the masses. No longer a luxury item for the wealthy, toothbrushes were now affordable, widely available, and ready to clean every mouth in Britain and beyond. Wooden handles, animal bristles, sometimes boar, sometimes horse, sometimes just whatever was lying around, made their way into homes, schools, and eventually, every household. Of course, not everyone was brushing like clockwork yet. Some families probably just looked at the toothbrush, shrugged, and went back to their salt rag routines. But one thing was certain, the age of mass-produced toothbrushes had begun, and nothing would ever make your morning routine quite the same again. And yet, even with mass production, the story was far from finished. As the 20th century approached, a tiny invention would take the humble toothbrush from a wooden and hair contraption to soft, sleek, modern marvels, and, trust me, this next chapter is one you'll want to brush up on. Welcome to the 20th century, the era when the toothbrush finally shed its primitive past and stepped boldly into modernity. It all began in 1938, when DuPont introduced nylon bristles. Goodbye boar hair, hello hygienic, durable, and surprisingly pleasant bristles. For the first time, brushing didn't involve ticklish animal hair or the faint fear of splinters. It was soft, reliable, and ready to take on the world, or at least plaque. But that wasn't all. Say farewell to awkward wooden and bone handles. The toothbrush got a glow-up, ergonomic plastic handles designed to fit comfortably in your hand. Finally, a toothbrush you didn't have to wrestle just to scrub your molars. Sleek, lightweight, and kind of stylish, because hygiene had now officially gone chic. And then, the 1960s hit, and the toothbrush went electric. Meet the Broxodent, the very first electric toothbrush. It was a game changer, spinning, vibrating, buzzing. Basically a tiny dental disco in your mouth. Plaque didn't stand a chance. Of course, some folks looked at it and thought, is this a toothbrush or a science experiment? But innovation waits for no one, and the electric toothbrush quickly carved its place in history, and bathrooms worldwide. From twigs chewed by ancient Babylonians to high-tech gadgets synced with apps and timers, the toothbrush has come a long, winding, and sometimes hilarious journey. And yet, even today, in the age of smart brushes and vibrating wands, one question remains, what's next for this tiny but mighty hero of human hygiene? Stay tuned. Because the toothbrush story is far from over, and the next innovations may just blow your mind, or at least your toothpaste. Welcome to the 21st century, the age of high-tech, connected, and downright fancy toothbrushes. No longer just sticks with bristles, today's brushes are almost like tiny robots working tirelessly to save your smile. We've got electric brushes with timers, pressure sensors, and even Bluetooth apps that tell you exactly how long and how well you're brushing. Because apparently, your toothbrush now judges you too. And the innovations keep coming. Some designers are experimenting with AI-powered toothbrushes, self-cleaning brushes, and brushes that even analyze your saliva for health insights. Imagine a toothbrush that tells you, hey, you've been eating too much sugar this week. Friendly? Maybe. Creepy? Definitely. Effective? Absolutely. Gone are the days when humans relied on chewed sticks, hog hair, or bone handles. Today, brushing is as much science as it is habit, part hygiene, part gadget obsession, and part futuristic fun. But here's the thing, no matter how advanced toothbrushes become, human nature remains the same. Some people still forget to brush. Some people still skip flossing. And some people just enjoy a little chaos in their mouths. So what's next for the toothbrush? Could it be nanobots scrubbing plaque at the molecular level? Or maybe smart brushes that literally train your teeth to fight cavities on their own? One thing is certain, the humble toothbrush, from chew sticks to electric marvels, is far from done writing history. And that, dear viewers, is the story of a tiny tool that changed the world, one tooth at a time. From frayed twigs in ancient Babylon to AI-powered gadgets that analyze your saliva, the humble toothbrush has been a silent witness to human ingenuity, creativity, and a little bit of obsession. It's more than just a tool, it's a 5,000-year story of innovation, hygiene, and yes, the occasional ticklish bristle. So the next time you pick up your toothbrush, whether it's a classic nylon model or a high-tech vibrating wonder, take a moment to appreciate the journey. You're not just scrubbing your teeth, you're participating in millennia of human history, one brushstroke at a time. Brush wisely, brush consistently, and remember, every morning and night, you're holding a piece of history in your hand. And that, my friends, is nothing short of epic.